Hi friends, welcome back to Live at the Roxy for episode 355, which means we are officially 10 days away from being at 365, which means we've been in quarantine for 10 days less than a year, which means that we've been live every day for 10 days less than a year. It is Friday. It is March 5th. It is a big day in the world of the stars. And also, it's a weekend, so we're ready to party. I'm not ready to party. I am exhausted. Grammy fell again last night, and it has made for quite the. She's okay. She re-injured her arm, and oh boy! But that is not why you guys are all here today. You're not all here to hear about woe is me, my life is hard. And honestly, I have a beautiful, great, wonderful life and incredible family. So I'm very, very lucky. I don't know that Wanda can say the same thing. So we are here today to talk about WandaVision, the series finale, and we will get to that. Usually I do a bunch of other topics at the top of the show, but I'm so invested in this and the MCU in general that I just want this to be the main part of the show today. But before we do get to that, I know there are people in here who don't watch WandaVision, who do not watch the show or do watch the show and haven't seen it yet. So I just want to spend a little bit of time, probably the first 5-10 minutes. We'll go over Streamlabs, Super Chats, talk a little bit, and then we will get to WandaVision. So if you are just here for the first time clicking on a WandaVision review, then make sure you look at the time codes because Rob Fishback will write them like the amazing being he is, and just fast forward through all this shit about me and you guys. Not that it's actually shit. It's golden. You guys are the best. But maybe you don't want to hear any of that. So go ahead and jump on forward. Otherwise, we're going to get to the Streamlabs, the Super Chats, and anything coming in from you guys. So right now, this is still spoiler free. We're not talking about WandaVision yet. Keep that out of the chat. I'll tell you guys when the time comes for that. This is for the people who watch Live at the Roxy every single day, who've been with us every single day, and either do not want to watch WandaVision or just have not had time to watch the episode last night that dropped at midnight, because it drops at midnight and a lot of people have jobs and work. In the meantime, going into the Streamlabs, like I said, streamlabs.com/Roxy Strider, starting today off with a bang because Apollo 3JP in the house said, WandaVision. Oh, okay. Well, this is spoiler free. So WandaVision, what a monumental disappointment. This is some J.J. Abrams mystery box BS. A month ago, we were convinced this is the dawn of a new era. What a missed opportunity. Steph, sup, girl. All right, that's one person's opinion, and it might be mine, it might not be. We will talk about it in a little bit. Glenn Caesar says, continuing to say it, Miles Cosgrove, Brett Hankerson, Jonathan Mackley arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor, all three of them for killing Breonna Taylor, justice for all the people who lost their lives due to excessive force, hashtag say their names, and we will continue to say their Breonna Taylor's name, but also the police officers who murdered her because they get to live in anonymity right now, and that is not right. Glenn Caesar also said, hello and good afternoon, Steph, but she's not here. But maybe for yesterday. Roxy, RJ Skittles, Chunk GBS, Misdirection, Silver the Elf, Zilla, Queen Badges, Dimples, Madame Modi. Much love to you, Grammy and Papo. Thanks for hanging out with us. Peace, bunnies, and hugs, and good stuff to you and yours. Good thoughts and good vibes to you on garnering all of your much-deserved success. Good luck with all the hosting, filming, and auditions, and our booking projects coming up. What's for you is yours. You're earning it because you fucking rock, RJ Chunk. Thanks for everything. Or for these reminders, everything has meaning. Be thankful for it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, the blissful. It all has purpose, a reason. Why me? Why now? I am what/where I am due to the choices I've made in regards to my experience. Thanks for always being there and here for us. Congrats, good thoughts, and good vibes on all of the and all that's in the works and soon to unfold for you in 2021 and beyond. Fuck yeah, to the new life chapter. Roxy's best, Roxy number one. Yeah. Happy Roxy days. Keep crushing it. Thank you, Glenn. Thanks, RJ, RSB, and World Friends. That's Rockstar's band. For the most important reminders, be here now, not there, then. Be aware of my words, thoughts, intentions, and feelings and emotions. I am the one who defines me. Words are energy. All words have power and can lead to manifestation in life. Glenn always stated so beautifully, and we really appreciate you for keeping us right on this show. I guess that's the best word. Much appreciated to you, my dear. Yes, we will get to the WandaVision talk soon, I swear. But any other Streamlabs super chats that come in, thank you to all of you guys who are watching live. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that great stuff. Yeah. Are you guys liking the new thumbnails that I do sometimes too, where they're more specific, or do you like it better when it's just that classic thumbnail? I'm just still trying to figure out what I want to do with that. And as I'm starting to upgrade the show and update the show as we are getting into the next phase of Live at the Roxy, I just want to know what you guys are looking for. So please, oh please, let me know, because I'm curious. Going back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Glenn Caesar back in the Streamlabs. Hell yeah, Glenn says, positive thoughts to you, RJ, and all the rock stars and world friends who show up to give their support whenever, however they can. Don't forget, when it gets tough, even if you're by yourself, you're not alone. Everyone who's battling, keep on fighting. You're a winner. Please remember, you're kind, you're smart, you're unique, and being so unselfishly loving and supportive of each other, including strangers on the internet or not, makes you worthy as such. Your story is important and deserves to be seen and heard. You are appreciated. Thank you, Glenn. Guess what, Glenn? You're appreciated as well. And I don't know if we tell you that enough. And all of you guys in here are appreciated. So much love. Rob says, I hope the show doesn't change too much. Love the vibe as always. Oh, it's not going to change too much. Just a little more tight, maybe. More guests, more tight. Whatever it is you guys want it to be, it will become. And what I want to. It will be kind of a combination of all of the things. Jake says, I like the classic one for guests and the new one for solo shows with specific topics. Yeah, I think I like that too, Jake. I think that's what I'm leaning towards. I think that's the vibe. Thank you to everybody for being in here. Dark Jedi Knight, Robert Turner, Jake Yakavetta, Brittany Parker, French Taunter, John Bainbridge, Rob Fishbeck, Andrew Thomas, Manny Gonzalez, Bruce Banner, Jeremy Miller, Zeno Hour, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Third Turd, Ryan Payne, Pino, Bloodstar, Kidlander. All of you guys are awesome. And thank you for being here. John Get Bent, also David Martin, Chris Martinez, Bryce Ratliff. Just some shout outs to start the show. All right, we are going to get into it now, though. So at this point, Juan Mendez, Lauren, at this point, if you have not seen the finale and you're planning on watching it, now is a good time to dip set. We're going to talk about the future of the MCU later on, but we are going to talk about the WandaVision full spoiler finale review. So dip out from this show. If you have questions, comments, concerns, I recommend getting them in now. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer or right here in the super chat so that we can talk about WandaVision and everything that happened in the series finale. I'm calling it the series finale because as we found out that was the title of the episode. The episode was called the series finale, not the season finale, the series finale, which is really interesting. Always could be a swerve, but could also not be. So let's break it down. WandaVision was a series that seemingly was a miniseries that was 9 episodes that was on Disney Plus that focused on Wanda and Vision, but mostly Wanda, that now has come to a close and left us with a lot of questions. This final episode, I had incredibly mixed feelings about, just to be perfectly open and honest. Some parts of it I thought were the strongest part of the entire series, and some parts of it I thought, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel. Now, one thing that I've had to do a little bit here is check my entitlement, my privilege at the door. And this can be hard for a lot of us to check our entitlement at the door because the truth is that Wanda is my favorite character in the MCU. And I feel like I know what I wanted from a WandaVision show. And this was not that. What I wanted to see from Wanda's character and what I wanted from a WandaVision show was not this. And so I'm finding myself left here questioning, just because it's not what you wanted, does that mean that it wasn't a good show? Was it a good show? Did it accomplish what it wanted to accomplish? And if so, what exactly do you think it wanted to accomplish? And how did it do at that? And just kind of trying to assess the situation, because even though I have really strong opinions on the characters and the storylines, that doesn't mean I'm not the writer of the show. So I need to figure out whether or not they did a good job and review this, not because it's not what I wanted, but review it with the story that they were trying to tell. So based on this episode and based on the show, what I believe is the case, and you guys tell me if you believe otherwise, streamlabs.com/Roxy Strider, and right here in the super chat. What I believe is the case is this. I believe this was a show about grief, and this was a show about acceptance. And I think what we watched here were the 7 stages of grief, and we watched that unfold in a way that we have not seen really on television before, where it is a MCU show, but it's also a mystery show, but it's also a sitcom that's also part of a much bigger universe that probably you needed a lot of backstory in order to watch the actual show that we saw, because you probably needed to watch at least a dozen of the movies before you got to this point. So that is what I think that this show really was at its heart and soul. I think it was a show about grief. Actually, I think there are 5 stages of grief. Probably if we go over them, we will see exactly what they are and how they are involved in this show. So shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. No, 7 stages. I was right. Okay. Shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, and then hope, which I guess some people consider the last stage. Although I think some people consider it to be acceptance. And then some people say that there are 5 stages. And I guess the 5 stages are denial, bargaining, acceptance, whatever. This seems to be very convoluted at this point, but you guys get what I'm saying. The stages of grief and the process of grief. So denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance are universally known as the 5. And then some people have 7 that go along with that. If this is about that, then let's look at those 5 stages. The first episode is not the first episode we see, but chronologically speaking, a lot of this is about denial. Wanda's denial of what is going on, the fact that she has lost Vision, the fact that she won't have Vision's children, that she doesn't have this family that she thought. It's denial of that. Then it's anger of that. And so she literally is so angry, she turns Westview into this other place so that she creates this bubble that she can be there. In tonight's episode, or last night's episode, we see more of this bargaining side. You can keep, Agnes saying, you can keep this town if I can get your powers. It seems like Wanda is momentarily swayed by that. There's other bargaining that go on throughout. Depression we see throughout as well, and I think that they don't always hit exactly in this order. And then acceptance, we do see by the end of the show that she seemingly has accepted the fact that she will not be with Vision in the way that she was prior to this, or if she is, it's going to be in a different place. So to me, that's what this show is about. I think that in terms of that, they did a good job showing Wanda's arc of losing Vision and dealing with this loss. But there was a lot of other things that happened along the way that I want to talk about as well. So just breaking down the actual episode, there was 2 major battles going on. One of them was Agatha and Wanda, the other being Vision v. Vision. And one of those battles was really fascinating to me, and the other one was not as fascinating to me. I loved watching Vision v. Vision. I'm a hippy dippy. You guys know this. I'm a stoner child. I like questioning what is life and how are we here and what makes us us. And so when we go Vision versus White Vision, which I think we're credited as Vision and the Vision, I like to think about what makes us us. Is it our bodies? Is it our minds? Is it our souls? Is it our emotions? Is it our memories? What makes us us? Is it the combination of all of those things? Well, of course. But individually, what is at its core what makes us us? And so I liked watching this and figuring out what and who is Vision. I thought that was really cool, really strong. And I'm so nerdy for that stuff. That is, even though some of it was like a little over the top, I love that kind of stuff. So that really worked for me. The Agnes Elizabeth Olsen stuff works because both these actresses are ridiculously talented. Catherine Hahn and Elizabeth Olsen could watch paint dry, and I would watch that show because they are so, so good. But I thought that visually, this was not the strongest episode of WandaVision. Visually, this part of the battle looked okay. It didn't look great. It looked more like CW, DC TV shows than what we've seen so far in the show. And I've just praised the show over and over again for looking so phenomenal. Also, at no point were the stakes high enough for me, because at no point did I feel like Wanda's legitimately going to give this witch her power, or Wanda's legitimately going to keep all of these people here and become this nightmare person. I just didn't feel like they were going to do that at this point, especially because all the press around this is, we're not going to make this woman this crazy woman who then ends up being the big bad. So the stakes were not that high for me here. And it didn't connect with me. It also, the stuff with bringing back the witches to life, it just didn't connect with me the way that the other stuff did. What did work for me, again, was the WandaVision relationship. Often in this show, my favorite scenes are between Wanda and Vision, which makes sense. Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen have ridiculous chemistry. And the scene in which some people thought was cheesy, some people cried at, the scene in which Vision says, "What am I?" And she says, "You are my love. You are the part of me that is still the Mind Stone. You are," and explains. That really works for me. That really works. And I love that we might see Vision again in the future. But for everything that worked for me, there was something that didn't. White Vision flew away mad fast. Where are you at, White Vision? I wanted to get a little more time with you. We saved this reveal for the finale, and it was just like, do I get to spend any time with White Vision at all? Sup with him? And will he be coming back? And why did he leave so quickly? So those are some of the things. I obviously still have to talk about the Evan Peters situation, the mid-credit scene, the post-credit scene. But before I do that, I want to get to some of your guys' thoughts. Andrew Thomas in here says, "Hey, sexy Roxy Vision. I enjoyed the finale. I liked that old Vision got his memories back, and Elizabeth Olsen looked really hot in the new Scarlet Witch costume. They did leave some things open. The Scarlet Witch costume is super comic accurate, is super cool looking. And I have to say, I've not seen one person who disliked this new Scarlet Witch outfit or costume. Her hair, from her hair to the outfit to everything. Oh, chef's kiss. So good. She looked incredible." Bryce Ratliff says, "I felt super mixed on the episode. Loved where Wanda ended up, but mixed on the execution overall. Ralph angered me. The episode and Agnes felt a bit generic." Yes, we will talk about that. We shall talk about that. Get in your Streamlabs and Super Chats now before I get back to talking about my episode theories and whatnot. In the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, Apollo3JP says, "With respect, I don't know if not liking the show is a matter of privilege. It could just be your opinion. In my opinion, they played us." It's definitely, I'm not saying that not liking the show is a matter of privilege. I'm saying I have to check my ego and see if I'm not liking it because it just didn't do what I wanted, or whether it's not actually good. Apollo, I also don't know that you would ever acknowledge that not liking something is because of, you have to check your ego. Maybe. Paula also says that Quicksilver reveal meant nothing. That Paul Bettany interview was just a troll. I'm sure at the same time they thought it was funny, but the hype became too big to control, and the show had no intention of living up to it. Kind of backfired, in my opinion. So Paul Bettany had said that he got to work with an actor that he wanted to work with for 30 years. I think he's talking about himself. I think that that is kind of funny. And I think that we made that into something it really was not. Also looked into, based on watching Dan Merle's review, I looked into the Elizabeth Olsen interview where she said that we thought she said there was a Luke Skywalker level cameo, which is absolutely not what she said. I think it was TV Line that initially did the interview where they asked her if there was somebody coming that the casting hadn't been revealed yet. And she said yes. And then at the same time, she said, I'm so excited for you to see it. And then the article titled that, Is there a Luke Skywalker level reveal coming? Elizabeth Olsen answers. And then everybody ran with that. So that's on us. That's on society for not checking our work, and on the publications for having false advertising, because she didn't say that. And she did say there was somebody coming, and this is prior to the Evan Peters reveal. She didn't say it was Luke Skywalker. She just said that we didn't know. And that was probably before we did know. So everybody can give our girl Elizabeth Olsen a break and Paul Bettany a break. They're actors. They're just talking about the show. They're doing press. They're allowed to say what they want. As long as they're not blatantly lying to us, I think it's okay. So all of that was fine for me. And I will get to more of your guys' comments. Get them in streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer and in the super chat. What was not dope for me was the Ralph Boner part. It was so not cool. I don't like feeling like I'm the butt of the joke as the audience member. I don't like feeling like I'm coming up with theories and I'm investing all my time and I'm thinking about how could this be Evan Peters and is this X-Men coming through and what's going on with the multiverse and how could this be and why didn't they go with Aaron Taylor Johnson? There must be a reason, and what is it, and all of this stuff, and at the end of the day, it's a dick joke. They made a dick joke. It is true that this could be a swerve, and we might see something in the future, but this is called the series finale. And so as far as this show goes, they took Evan Peters and they made a boner joke out of him. And that just seems like such a wasted opportunity. People were guessing that he was Mephisto. People were guessing that he was going to be the one who joins the universes together. People were guessing all different things. And at the end of the day, it's a boner joke. That's what we're going to do. I felt super let down and trolled and like the butt of a joke that I didn't want to be a part of at all. So I just think that energy kind of overshadowed a lot of the great parts of the finale. And I think that maybe they thought we were going to think that was really funny, like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And they might not have known that we were going to theorize to the extent that we did, but they should at this point because they know their audience. And after all things were said and done, for us not to know who the engineer was on the rig, for us to find out that this Evan Peters thing was a dick joke, for us not to really see much of White Vision, for us not to understand, and I'll get to the post-credit scene, but what's going on with her children fully. There were just for us not to get a Doctor Strange or Spider-Man, which again was not Elizabeth Olsen's fault, but just these were the conversations around the show, and even the way that the show was leading, talking about the engineer, and then leading up with all this magic, thinking that was going to be a Doctor Strange thing. I just think that they must have known we were going to feel, or at least I feel, I can't speak for all of us, slightly let down. It's just kind of a bummer. So as much as there were positive parts about this episode, to end the series that I was concerned about from halfway through on this note definitely doesn't make me remember it in a better light. I think that this show was not necessarily for me. And I think that this show did not stick the landing no matter who it was for. But it's part of it's a cog in a bigger machine. So it might end up working more down the line. Leonard Kim in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer says, hey, Dimple Tits, Roxy, I loved the finale overall. I enjoyed the ship of Theseus conversation between the two visions. I hate everything about the Evan Peters situation. I don't get the logic and rationale. The hair looks beautiful. Thanks, Leonard Kim. Yeah. Glenn Caesar says, RJ, your thoughts and feelings on WandaVision's not a full-on villain, but rather that she took bad advice from someone and is now in over her head without realizing it, studying the dark hold, poor choices of teachers, study material, habits leading down the wrong path. Yeah, so what I think is I was really, really hoping that they wouldn't make Wanda this person who was highly aware of what she was doing, because that seems fucked up. I love Wanda. To me, she is a hero. And if she knew the pain she was causing, I would like to think she wouldn't do it. And so I was glad to watch that moment in which the townspeople, Dottie is like, can you just let my daughter out of her room, please? And Wanda realized, and we know that Wanda was not aware of it. And that happens to people in life sometimes, where you're so blinded by yourself and your own situation that you don't look past yourself and see how your actions could be affecting others truly and fully. And you also make excuses so that you can rationalize your choices. And that's what we saw Wanda doing. And so once Wanda knows the fact that she does open up Westview to get them out, even at the risk of her family at first, shows she still is the hero. And so I was glad to see that even though she was the one in charge, at least she did not understand the severity of the situation. She didn't understand what she was doing. I'm also glad that those characters stayed mad at her, because what we've watched is Monica openly accept what she's done. And Monica says, like, they don't understand. Monica, I don't know that you understand, girlfriend. Like, what Wanda did was really wrong and fucked up. And you just seem fine with it. And I'm not saying that it's not justifiable, but it's wrong. And the people have a right to be really fucking pissed and hate her, frankly. They're afraid of her, but they hate her. And I get it. I would too. Because you can't just demo other people's lives, even if you don't know you're doing it, because you've got your blinders on. So I was glad to see that. Thank you for asking me about that, Glenn. Bloodstar Kidlander says, it was clear to me that Peters was just a nod from the get-go. They established possession and followed through. So of course he's a rando. But were you okay with that? Did you appreciate that? Did that elevate the material for you anyway? Evan Peters is a very talented actor. So for some people, it might have been enough for them just to have Evan Peters on the show because they preferred him to Aaron Taylor Johnson. So that might have been enough for some people. Let's go back into the Streamlabs and see some of your questions, comments, concerns. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Bryce Rat 1 says, I didn't need Evan to be Fox Pietro, but I hate worthless fake outs. It's what made me quit Pretty Little Liars. It's a waste of an actor. He should have at least been Agatha's son from the comics. Also, wish Agatha had been less generic than I want power. So Bryce, on that note, one of my major issues with the finale was that I don't understand Agatha's motivation at all. I know on a base level what she wants. We find out it's kind of her thing. She likes to collect power and she wants Wanda's. But why? Why does she want that? What does she want to do with that? I needed to know more, because at this point, I don't feel like Agatha is the villain of this story. I know that Wanda was hurting people more than Agatha was hurting people. And I know now Agatha's stuck in this place, in this horrible existence for her where it's all a lie. And I don't know why Agatha even wanted the power. Could it have been for something not that bad? Could it have been for something even good? What was the point? I don't know. I don't know what she wanted with the power. So it's hard for me to sit here and judge or hate. And when there's not a strong villain, I don't know who really. It was kind of Wanda, even though she wasn't aware. She was the villain of this situation. Also, Hayward, obviously we don't like him because he's a villain. And, even if they're fake kids, he shoots children, or tries to. But so he gets arrested because he is not a good dude. I mean, what part did that happen? Jake said Agatha's origin story being tied to the pole was because she was dabbling in the dark arts and she wanted more power to go deeper into that. But why, Jake? What was she trying to do? Who was she trying to control? What was she trying to create? Like there was a missing motivation for her, just wanting it. Why? Why did she want to take over the world? What was the thing? It just was not very clear to me. Speaking of Jake Yakoveta in the Streamlabs says, I think the series finale title is kind of a swerve, and it's referencing the show of the sitcom show within the show. The Evan Peters shit was a letdown. Didn't care for the Salem part. Overall, I liked the whole show, though. I think it might be a swerve as well. I think it is. I agree with you that series finale is referring to the sitcom part. I'm not sure if they know fully yet if they're coming back for a season 2 of this, or if it will just be solved in Captain Marvel 2, which we'll talk about momentarily, or in some kind of a different Monica Rambeau spinoff, or in Doctor Strange. There's other places that we could take care of it. I don't know if we come back. I also didn't care for the Salem part. I also thought the Evan Peters shit was a letdown. And I also liked The Whole as a show. It wasn't necessarily for me, and I don't know that I loved it, but I did like it. And I really enjoyed watching it. Even more than I liked it. I enjoyed myself while I was watching it. And so afterwards, when you think about it, you're like, Paul 3JP says, they played us. LOL, the Dottie stuff, nothing there. Monica, oh, really? I like the Dottie stuff. Nothing there. Monica, yeah, has glowing eyes now. That's about it. Darcy, yeah, she's fine. No powers, but she made it out. This is the Game of Thrones level disappointment. I said what I said. I need a hug. Oh, you often need a hug. I feel that, though, and you're allowed to have those feelings. You felt invested in something, so you're allowed to have those feelings. Going back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Glenn says, yeah, Rox, I agree with you on the Ralph and that reveal. I bought in on the speculation and got trolled in that regard, but I can get over it. And yeah, by now, aka Star Wars The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, I think Kevin Feige should know that we as fans over-speculate on everything. So true, Glenn. And saying it again, let's fucking go. Smets and everyone fighting for today, tomorrow, and more. Smash cancer, be most excellent. RJ and Rockstar show up for people who need it. That makes you so, so cool, humane, and worthy. Cheers to fuck yeah news in 2021 and beyond. Thank you, Glenn. Ryan Payne in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer says, going heel. I'm sorry your fan theories that Reed Richard wasn't the engineer, or your headcanon of Mephisto as the big bad didn't pan out, or that Evan Peters wasn't revealed to be Quicksilver. Yeah, let's overlook the fact that we got to watch new MCU content. I like your heel. I like the heel, Ryan Payne. Totally. That's what I'm talking about, like the entitlement of it and me trying to check it. I hear you. Leonard Kim in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer says, I believe some theories could end up coming to fruition in future projects. I also think I benefited from never having read comics. I had fun with the theories, but I usually had no idea what they were talking about, so I wasn't invested in the theories. Leonard Kim, that might have helped. I do also believe they could come to fruition in future projects. We are going to just have to see, because we know this is tied to a much bigger universe and storyline, which we will talk about momentarily. Bryce Ratliff says, everything felt rushed and convenient. Darcy shows up at the nick of time. Wanda mastered runes. Vision is alive but leaves. Hayward shooting kids. I hear you and I feel you on all of that, and I think that that is fair and valid. Teddy Holiday says, I find the finale disappointing. No accountability for Wanda. She deserves some sort of reprimand. Hayward and Agatha just end asks one note villains. Teddy, I hear you on that too. But I do feel like it is a repercussion for Wanda that people hate her. I don't think that that's what she thought was going to happen, and that is, I think, for her probably going to be very tough to stomach, and going to be moving forward talking about the MCU. One of the reasons why the people in the MCU, civilians in the MCU, are going to hate mutants. Wanda really fucked a lot of people here, and that hatred for mutants is going to drive a lot of the future of what mutants will look like in the MCU, I think, if and when that does happen. So also talking about the greater MCU picture, in the mid-credit scene, we have that moment where we get the scroll telling Monica, that she's somebody up there is waiting for her. And we have to assume that that's Nick Fury, as it's mentioned that it's a guy. We have to think that Monica's going to have some kind of interaction with Captain Marvel, as they've got some things to deal with. And I'm looking forward to that in whatever iteration. It just feels so far away. It feels so long away. I don't know when or how we will get to that. It feels years away, legitimately years away. And that's why I can't get that stoked about it. So it was a nice little nod, and I'm happy that we got something there, but I don't know. Then as far as the end credit scene goes, that feels like a setup for possibly Doctor Strange. It was visually pretty cool to see, but the part about her kids, I'm kind of confused, because if you're like me, as Westview is closing in and it's going to overtake Vision and her children, I thought that meant that the children are no longer in existence, that they're not real, that she created them and they don't exist anymore. And then we see the empty lot. But we hear her children in her vision asking for her help. So is that a figment of her imagination? Do they actually exist? Is this a multiverse thing? Is this a Doctor Strange thing? Is this what's going to lead us into Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness? What exactly is the kids part of this? And although I feel fairly confident we are going to get Vision back in some way, because White Vision is out there and Wanda and Vision will be able to have something go down, I didn't know what was going to happen with the kids. We've talked about Young Avengers, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And I think that this is going to be a Doctor Strange thing. A lot of you guys are saying the same thing. And so you guys know Doctor Strange is my least favorite of the characters in the movies. So that is a personal issue that I'm having a hard time getting excited for. But the one thing that would make me feel a lot better about Doctor Strange is Wanda. So maybe this works out to my favor, and maybe it's cool what goes down there. Those are my thoughts on WandaVision. WandaVision, the series finale, WandaVision, the series in general, and WandaVision, how it pertains to the MCU. We have a week off before we get to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be much, much different. It's going to be way more MCU-y. So more similar to this episode, less similar to the sitcom-y big risk situation that went down. So we will see what happens there. And yeah, I'm excited for the next show. I think that MCU still has my trust, and I think there are parts of the show that made it super duper worth watching, even though they didn't do everything I wanted it to do. So get in any of your last minute comments. We are getting out of here. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar and in the super chat. I want to hear from you guys. How did you feel about this finale? Did it do the show justice? Did you like the show and dislike the finale? Did you dislike the show and like the finale? Did you like the whole thing? Did you dislike the whole thing? And how are you feeling in terms of confidence level moving forward in the MCU when it comes to their connectivity and the Disney Plus series and the big bad movies? Not bad as in they're bad, just like the big boys. They are big boys. Bruce is excited for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Joseph Ashley says, year from now, our entitled asses will find out later. It makes sense. LOL. Very, very true. And Kevin Feige, we trust, says, not Rick Morris. That's true also. Bruce Banner says 8 out of 10. Murderana says 9 out of 10. Both the finale and the series. Wow. Murderana, so you really liked the finale. That's great. Overall, like the show, says Joseph. Pink Sweet says, I'm more excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier than I am for Loki. Wow, really? I'm really excited for Loki. I'm excited for both of them, though. And to each their own. Going back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Bryce Rat 1 says, I think she's looking for a multiverse where they are real. She also said they chose her as a mother. Some speculate they were fragments of Mephisto's soul and that they did choose her in the Hex, and maybe he's holding them in hell or something. Yes, and that would have a lot of merit in the comics. But a lot of people also don't know if they would do a Mephisto Hell storyline with Disney. Maybe, maybe not. Glenn Caesar in the Streamlab says, Monica is Photon with a whole lot of powers and ability, which we'll see in the later MCU films and the comic books. We just haven't seen it yet. She's in Captain Marvel 2. Didn't show all her power in the show, but she probably doesn't know them all yet. Yeah, she just got her powers. She's just getting used to them. That takes at least a season. Ryan Payne in here says, go and heal again. Seriously? Wanda suffers no consequences? Wow. It's like nobody watched the show. It's the same complaint that the MCU has on stakes. What's next? The Flash is going to have another BS storyline with Barry having to go fast to save the day? It's funny. It's funny when you're a heel. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more out of it. Eating good in the neighborhood. All right. Thank you guys so much for chatting WandaVision with me. That's going to be the end of our WandaVision talk for now and for a while, because we don't even know if we're getting a second season. The series finale might state otherwise, but who knows? I don't know that they would even, if there was a second season, I don't even know what we would want to see, because I really miss the sitcom stuff, and I don't think they'd be able to bring that back. I really hope that they do a full-blown sitcom show and that She-Hulk is like some kind of a workplace comedy. I don't know. They got a lot that they can play with. I hope that you guys did enjoy the show, though. As always, I hope that you enjoy this show and anything you guys are watching, because otherwise it's just a GD waste of your time. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. Leave a comment. Let me know how you felt about WandaVision season 1, possibly season done of this show. Quick other Streamlabs coming through, and then we'll get out of here. Paul through JP says, year from now, it'll make sense. LOL. That means you told a bad story then. Are we really saying it's okay? You might be disappointed now, but in a year, you'll love it, and acting like that's acceptable? LOL. I mean, okay. But Paulo, why are you shitting on somebody else for their opinion? It's a show. It's a show, honey. They're allowed to do whatever they want. And you guys are allowed to do whatever you want. But if you want my advice, check your internet. If it's not working, blow on it. Put the toilet seat and lid down. Make your bed. Don't trend with the Holocaust. Check out the Schmodown. Big day for the stars. And join me again here tomorrow for our countdown live at the Roxy. We're getting right down to it. Adrian, so should I watch this show? Live at the Roxy or WandaVision? I have a feeling you would not like WandaVision. Have you even seen any of the MCU shows? Movies, I mean? Doesn't seem like it would be totally up your alley. Brittany Parker is adding fluff your pillows. It's very important. I think that was a Rob Fishbeck original. Do all of these things. Thanks for hanging out and in with me. Much love to you guys. I will see you tomorrow live at the Roxy. And on Sunday, as we talk about our favorite female characters in TV and movies. I think we're going to have some different tastes, different strokes for different folks on the World Girls. See you guys there. Much love. Stay safe. Stay sane.